Good greetings to you all. Today we are discussing Dr S Radhakrishnan's essay Humanities versus Sciences. Dr. Sarvepalli S. Radhakrishnan was one of the greatest philosophers of modern times. He was born at Tirutani, now in Tamil Nadu, on September 5, 1888. His father's name was Sarvepalli Veerasamy and mother was Satima. Sarvepalli was the name of his ancestral village in Andhra Pradesh. He born in an Orthodox Brahmin family, and it was not very difficult for him to study epics and Puranas at an early age itself. He had his early education at Tiruchani. He did his intermediate at the Uhis College, Vellore, and a degree at the Christian College, Madras, now in Chennai, at the age of 17 years. While studying at the Christian College, he came under the influence of the Bible, but he could never tolerate criticism on Hindu religion and culture. He analyzed the truths in both the Hindu and the Christian religions and convinced that truth is the same in all religions. Hence, his interest in Indian philosophy, religion, and culture grew more and more. He was a very brilliant and intelligent student and had a keen interest in studies right from the beginning. Consequently, he got scholarships at various stages of his student life. In 1908, he wrote a paper, Moral Principles of Vedanta. After securing his master's degree in philosophy, he was appointed first as assistant professor and later as professor of philosophy in the Presidency College, Madras. During this time, he read thoroughly the Upanishads, Vedanta and Bhagavad Gita and books on Buddhism and widened his knowledge on these subjects. He also read Western philosophy of Plato, Plotinus and many other eminent philosophers. He was a great orator. He could critically analyze and explain philosophical truths. Students liked his lectures and simplicity. He was considered as a model teacher also. He often used to say, "Teaching gives me satisfaction and peace of mind." He served as a junior professor in Government Training College, Rajmundry, for some time. In 1918, he joined the Maharaja College, Mysore, as a professor of philosophy. He was a prolific writer. He got published his lectures and speeches in a book entitled The Essentials of Psychology. This added to his fame. He also wrote the books Reason of Religion in Contemporary Philosophy, Indian Philosophy in 2 volumes. These two books made him world famous. In 1922, he went abroad for the first time and delivered lectures on Indian philosophy, Vedanta, civilization and Indian culture. He was a visiting professor of philosophy to many Western universities, including Oxford University in England. He served as a vice chancellor of many universities, notably 1931 to 1936 as vice chancellor of Andhra University, in 1939 Banaras Hindu University, etc. He served at the same post for some time even in Calcutta. He brought about many administrative reforms in these universities. While serving in Benares, he came under the influence of Gandhiji. He had an exceptional style in delivering lectures, which was his forte. After independence from 1949 to 1952, he served as an ambassador of India in Moscow, and he was the first one to be received in person by the great leader Stalin. In 1952, he became the Vice President of India. During his tenure as Vice President, he visited many countries like Peru, China, Belgium, Poland, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, Bulgaria, Japan, and Africa. From 1953 to 1962, he served as Vice Chancellor of Delhi University. He was made head of the Sahitya Academy in Delhi. In 1954, he was honored with the Bharat Ratna, the highest award of the country. He also received many other awards like German Order of Merit, Goethe Prize, Master of Wisdom, Templeton Award, etc. He served as Vice President of India up to 1962. In 1962, due to the illness of Dr. Rajendra Prasad, the President of India, he became the acting President and later succeeded as the second President of India. Dr. Radhakrishnan relinquished his office as President in 1967 and died in April 1975. His birthday is being celebrated as Teachers' Day throughout the country every year on 5th September. On this occasion, the talented teachers are felicitated by the President of India. This is the greatest honor and tribute being paid to the great philosopher by the nation. Now, over to the essay, Humanities versus Sciences. According to Dr. Radhakrishnan, the three obstacles in the way of national development are ignorance, disease, and poverty. By eradicating ignorance, the other two can be eradicated. That was his principle. Educated people who have competence and skill, a sense of direction, and a social purpose can transform the whole world. He points out that the technological education without a complement of humanistic studies will be imperfect and deficient. Science divorced from moral values is not acceptable. Therefore, he recommends an integrated study of humanities and sciences. Science is both knowledge and power. It has interest as well as utility. It demands discipline and hard work. It develops an attitude of tolerance, open-mindedness, freedom from prejudice, and hospitality to new ideas. It shows us that the richness of the world, that lies in scientific knowledge. Scientific knowledge is essential in the modern world. However, science must be oriented in the right direction. Now, talking about humanities, humanities are equally important because they tell us about our own nature and how we have a deeper meditation over the subject of life. In addition to technological knowledge, we need wisdom and humanism. In the ancient times, Indian wisdom was connected to the wisdom of other parts of the world. For example, in the field of medicine or mathematics, we find the influence of the Greek, the Roman, and the West Asian. The religion emphasized the concept of Tattvamasi. Dr. Radhakrishnan focuses on two important principles. First one is we are members one of another, and the second principle is there is no decree of God or man which compels us to be sick and hungry. And he also mentioned about search for truth. He said, God is truth, and so the search for truth is search for God itself. The advances in science were brought about by different people, such as Newton, an Englishman, Kepler, a German, Copernicus, a Pole, and a Galileo, an Italian. So all the discoveries prove that both science and religion travel together. Truth is indivisible. Whether it is historical truth, scientific truth, literary truth, the approaches may be different, but the ultimate gain is the same. So the problem with the universities is that they produce either seers or men with mechanical skills. A blend of the two is possible. So as a conclusion, all disciplines lead to one end, that is growth of wisdom. It is not the weapons that destroy us, but lack of wisdom that creates problems. Increase of knowledge alone is not sufficient. Wisdom is what we need for the development of the world. So the aim of an institution is to help an individual to attain self-awareness. That means knowledge of the self is the greatest science. An education that does not orient a student is not desirable. It should help an individual to approach the life positively with a human heart. So that's all about the essay. Thank you.